Death March to Cape Coast, Chapter 4. Amari lost count of the days they walked. Her neck, bruised and scarred from the iron brace around it, could barely hold her head up any longer. Her wrists and ankles were raw where the skin had been worn away and insects swarmed around the oozing wounds. Her bare feet left bloody footprints upon the path, sliced by every stone and sharp stick she stumbled over. At first these difficulties bothered her, but gradually she simply felt numb. Quadzo died one morning, probably from his untreated wound, Amari thought, or maybe from his untreated sorrow, but she could not mourn his loss. She actually envied him. 7 others died during their long journey. Isai, the young wife of Makafai, first lost her baby, then her own life. Amari was sure she bled to death. Unable to control his grief, Makafai grabbed one of the leaders of the march and tried to strangle him with his wrist chains. How he managed to get his hands in front of him, Amari did not know. But before Makafai had a chance to succeed in killing the man, one of the others calmly picked up his fire stick and shot him. He was left on the side of the road for the hyenas, as the others had been. Amari had no idea where they were being taken or why. They just marched. Prisoners in a land so full of beauty and harmony that Amari could not bear to watch the golden sun rising in the east or the freely running giraffes and elephants in the distance. Occasionally, other couples of slaves would join their group. They looked with dead eyes at Amari and her sad little procession. No one spoke. Eventually, all of the prisoners were herded together, moving slowly down a path that was becoming increasingly wider and more well-traveled. The dirt was packed hard by the feet of those who had passed that way before. Amari wondered if they too had been coffled and shackled. Finally, one day they arrived in a city so much larger than what Amari had ever known that she stared in wonder at the huge buildings made of stone. The variety of noises, screeching monkeys in cages, and vendors loudly proclaiming their goods from the side of the road made her head throb. She marveled at the people who lived there, people with dark and pale and even honey-colored skins, black men and women who walked freely and laughed loudly, speaking in languages she did not know, white men walking arm in arm with black men with no chains on either of them. Amari was amazed and understood none of it. Some of the people looked at the group of enslaved captives with pity as they were marched through the center of the town, but no one made any move to help them. In fact, Amari noticed that most turned away as if the miserable group were invisible. The air smelled salty and felt wet upon her skin. The little river in Amari's village had smelled of mud and of the animals that used it as a gathering place to drink the water. But here she could smell a larger body of water, something huge and foreign and frightening.